Q&A, listener submitted questions. First one. Um, there's quite a selection, yeah. Um, be honest, do some people just not have the genetics to ever look strong?
You're the perfect answer. Give the answer to this one, aren't you?
Oh, you're shifting her onto me, are
Oh
you?
no, I can answer. I can answer it if you
Go on,
want.
I want to
I
hear
give you
your
my
thoughts
my
first.
opinion on I guess if we define looking strong as someone who has like a reasonable amount of muscle but also good muscle density. And I think everyone has their own perception on what looking strong is. Um, someone might say a bodybuilder, a massively jacked bodybuilder is what looks strong. Someone else might say someone who trains more like yourself, like conventional barbell lifts is what is required to look strong. Someone else could say a high level gymnast looks strong. I think it's all perception based.
Right.
But I do think in order to, I guess, look strong, genetics can play a part based on the length of your skeleton, so your lever length, and also then not so obviously your muscle origin insertions. Because if you've got shorter insertions, then you're going to get a bigger peak to your muscle belly. So in general, you're probably going to have an easier time getting that, strong look, if you like.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. That's a good point. And at the end of the day, like people who like look, no, I hear this all the time. I don't want to get as big as Eddie Hall,
Yeah.
or I'm like, mate, like Eddie Hall was born that way. Like he
Yeah.
probably started his first ever deadlift workout with 280 kilos the first time he ever touched a bar.
Yeah.
It's like you ain't never gonna look that way, so don't worry about it.
That's the thing, isn't it? People worrying about, well, often someone will go, "Oh, I want to look like X person who does X activity, be it a basketball player, a power lifter, a sprinter." And it's like, yeah, the way they train, has an impact on how they look, but a lot of the time they perform well in that sport and gravitate towards that sport based on just how they're built,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's the genetic side rather than they look that way as a byproduct of doing that activity or sport.
Yeah, yeah. I
I could
think
play basketball all my life. I'm not going to look like what's his name, Wemby, the guy who's like 7 foot or something.
yeah,
You know?
exactly, exactly. I think your genetics predetermine a lot of it, and then kind of training, strength training, it for example, is only going to benefit that to an extent,
Yeah,
and then
reinforced.
your lifestyle, your
Yeah,
lifestyle is obviously a massive one, right? Because if your lifestyle is in place to support a certain sport,
yeah,
then you're gonna tailor your look to that sport. It's like
exactly.
people will say, "Oh, how come powerlifters, if strength matters so much, how come powerlifters are the best athletes in the world?" Well,
Mm.
it's because the entire lifestyle is surrounded around supporting powerlifting,
Yeah,
and the skill obviously is the big part, right? They spend all their time practicing powerlifting. Um, so it's just always a dead argument that,
yeah.
it's like a pointless viewpoint. But yeah, I think that's smashed that. Um, what about this one? So um, I train 3 to 4 times a week and eat pretty well, but look exactly the same. At what point do you admit something just isn't working? How long in?
Um, I mean, eating pretty well. Obviously, training is what provides the stimulus, then it's backed up by your nutrition. So if you're looking for muscle gain, then training is, I think we talked about this the other week. Training is obviously going to be the biggest driver of that. But then if you're looking for overall body composition improvement and maybe need to drop a bit of body fat, then your nutrition plays a big part as well. So eating pretty well. I mean, you could be eating quote unquote healthy, but exceeding or under eating for your energy needs, and that will impact your progress and how you look as a from your training. So it's hard to say from that. And then
It's
also, is
very
your training,
vague, isn't it? That
yeah,
it's
is your
very
training
vague.
progressive as well, or are you just going in and ticking the box of saying, oh yeah, I went in and I completed X amount of sets? Are you actually pushing those sets towards like failure, or are you just within your comfort zone.
The thing is, I like people think they're training, and I'm not trying to be a dick or whatever about this, but it's just the truth. Like people think they are training well or with
Mm.
quality or eating, like you pointed out, like eating well relative to their goals, but they're not. Like they're just doing the wrong things and placing their energy in the wrong places. So
Yeah.
it's hard to really know and answer that because um at the end of the day, if you're progressively increasing the weight on the bar and you're doing everything correctly, like you should be, um, you know, you should be making some level of physical progress, especially if you're a novice.
Mm.
The problem is that people judge their progress based solely off how they look. We've talked about this so many times. I think it's a recipe for disaster. Because how you look is subjective to your own opinion of yourself. And
Yeah.
there's two different paths that you have. You've got path A where sure, tailor everything, all of your goals around kind of this aesthetic that you want to achieve, or path B, tailor your goals around how you want to live and how you want to operate through life.
Yeah.
That's why I call my business Pursue Performance because I don't think path A is healthy at all. I'm
Oh,
not
absolutely.
saying,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, weight loss can't be a part of the picture and looking at your food quantities, that falls more under the umbrella of kind of how you live, I suppose, right? But in terms of like putting how your visual, how you look at the top of your Christmas tree, as I've said
Yeah.
before, like that's a recipe for disaster, I think, because then you're always analyzing yourself.
Yeah, you're going to wake up every morning, look at yourself in the mirror, maybe jump on the scales, and you're going to be critiquing yourself based off the reflection and the number on the scale. That's a
Mhm.
lot of people, unfortunately. And yeah, you can easily get in your head over that, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Um, let's see, because there's quite a few I'm trying to filter through. Yeah. Um, what do you do when you just cannot be bothered anymore?
With training, with life.
I don't know. I mean, I had this guy comment on. Do you remember that viral reel I put up? With the one with the granddad. He lifted his
Oh
granddaughter
yeah.
training.
It was like a Christmas. Was it a Christmas one or not? I can't remember. I know the one you
Yeah,
mean.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was a Christmas one, and there's a guy on there. You want to see the back and forth exchange because he reminds me of this question. That's why I'm bringing him up.
Right.
And he was just like, I just don't see the point in training, like I just I don't get it at all. Like I don't, and then I responded to him and I said, well, I said, look, I'm like, don't expect me to try and convince you into training, like
Yeah.
I'm not here to do that. But what I will say is that if you want to live a long and healthy life with independence,
Yeah.
then you need to be doing some type of strength training. There are unfortunately, I think, people out there that just literally don't see the value in what we do and training. So maybe we could go from that sort of side to answer this question because I never get that way. Like I never genuinely I see the gym and not even the gym, mate. Like using like out going out today and we
Mm.
were talking about doing sprints and like doing my boxing stuff. Like that's incredible to me. Like I'm healthy. I can do that with my body. I'm capable. I'm useful. That's a gift. I love feeling that way. So
Same.
I, I
Yeah.
I I gotta be honest. I can't relate with people that say I just can't be bothered.
Yeah, I
I'm
can't
like,
be bothered, or I hate every minute of training or exercise, whatever you want to call it. It is. Yeah, I'm the same. I very much struggle because I also think though that maybe some of these people who say this have never been put on the right path, and so they've not
mm.
experienced, you know, how it can easily fit into your life and how it benefits your life, your longevity, but also just how you hold yourself and how you feel about yourself.
Yeah, because interesting you say that because this guy, that's one of the things he said. Like, why would you? this is literally what he said. It's like, why would you eat bad foods, meaning referring to healthier foods, but he
Mm,
looks at them as bad. So he said, why would you eat bad foods and why would you torture yourself in the gym? And so that just goes to show, and I actually pointed this out to him. I said, you know, that just goes to show that you've got a negative perception and a
mm,
negative relationship with food and with working out or training or whatever. And obviously I don't know where that's come from, but a lot of people have that, whether that's a negative experience, so what they've heard online or previous experiences,
yeah.
and look, the reality is like I wish it could be what I do for everyone because it benefits everyone, but not everyone's going to be interested in what I do.
No.
And I narrowcast. I don't work with, and what I mean by that is that who wants to turn up and do the same thing over and over and over again?
Yeah.
And the reality is do brutally difficult work. Like
Yeah.
adding weight to the bar when you don't want to go up is horrible, mate.
Mm,
It's horrible. I'd be lying. I genuinely, I can't say that I see the value in what I do, like I just said, but
yeah.
I can't sit here and say that during that time I'm enjoying every
Loving. Yeah. Yeah.
second.
Yeah.
Like um, it's very difficult. Like
Yeah.
so it's not for everyone, and I
Mm,
accept that. I wish it could be.
absolutely.
Anything else you want to add to that one or
No, you
no?
covered that one well.
Yeah. What's something clients think matters that you genuinely don't care about? Oh, that's an interesting one. What's
Something.
something clients think matters that you genuinely don't care about?
What something that they perceive is important within their training, or
Yes.
I would say not experienced clients, but people maybe when they start, feeling like they need to finish a session feeling absolutely done
Battered.
in. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's a classic one, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, like almost as if like we're in his mate, I had people that joined and then left, because the first workout was easy.
yeah,
Like years ago now. And then I'm trying to explain to them that actually, no, it has to be easy when you start,
yeah,
for you then to gradually build momentum over time.
yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. What I would check in with that one as well is kind of like this idea that you need to blast yourself on the spin bike and stuff like that.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. That's the common one, isn't it? The cardio as
yeah,
well, like more sweat.
yeah.
Yeah,
The other one as well is this idea of kind of like canceling out foods. I think some people think that we think that's important.
mm,
Like, oh, pizza, for instance, off limit. So I'm not going to eat, I'm going to be good. I'm not going to eat pizza, or I'm not, I'm going to be good and only have like, no processed foods at all. Like,
yeah,
I'm not saying it's like, obviously you want to follow an 80/20 principle in terms of like more nutritious foods versus less nutritious foods. But that's a part of life too.
of
Like
course, yeah.
I encourage you to actually can actually eat for pleasure too at times. Like that's
Mm.
important. So I think that's another big one as well. I try and sometimes I think people are surprised when like they join and they say, actually, no.
Yeah, encourage someone to actually go out and eat and enjoy themselves and yeah, not be
Yeah.
restrained. That's the thing. Oh my God, you're saying it's actually all right to eat dessert or whatever. It's like, yeah, because that's the thing. Because ultimately, you have to learn to live like that. Like that is living.
Yeah.
Unless you plan on living like a monk, where you are never ever going to eat anything processed, never enjoy dessert, and you're always
Yeah.
going to stick to whole unprocessed foods throughout the whole life. I just don't know anyone like that. So better
No.
to learn how to include the stuff within balance, and not go overboard as opposed to the other option.
I'm gonna start living like a monk now. Do you know that?
Are you? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
going
gonna
back
be
to
the
74 kilo Sam, are you?
I no, no, no. Do you know what I'm gonna be? I'm gonna be
Oh,
that guy.
eating off the board.
I'm gonna be that guy, right? But I'm gonna eat 4,000 calories a day of just chicken and rice, dude. Want
Yeah.
to know why? Because I'm the freight train now. That's why.
Yeah.
Because I'm sprinting now and because I've got some mass,
Yeah.
I'm the freight train now. So my diet, chicken, rice, ultimate bro. That's what I'm doing. I'm a Fruit Loop,
The
honestly.
Welsh Jonah Lomu, aren't you? There's just
Yeah,
no
five
stopping.
eight.
This train is not stopping. It's just direct and don't
And
get in the way.
we're moving fast.
Mm.
We're moving fast. Okay. Um, uh, have you ever had a client you knew was going to fail? Now,
No, because I will say for this, I'm confident in my ability to coach someone well.
yeah,
So
never judge.
I would never be like, oh yeah, this person is just never going to
No,
succeed. I would be like, oh, do you know what? This person has quite a few steps to progress until we can really start, pushing them, be it through their training, be it consistency with their nutrition, whatever. But I wouldn't take someone on if I thought, oh, I can't
no.
help someone succeed. This person
That's
succeed.
that. Yeah, I always come in with the optimistic. I never judge anyone. Like
Yeah.
I look at two things, right? This is what I look at. One, do they want to get stronger?
Mm.
Two, do they have a good character?
Hmm.
That's what I look at. And if they tick those boxes, great. We can
Yeah.
work with one another. Um, I tailor kind of like my guys now. I've had my guys for years now. My core group of people, and I'm lucky enough. I train the best people ever. I love my group. Over the years, like there have been people that have kind of I suppose fallen away.
Yeah.
Where yes, it does happen where I've had it before where people will just yeah, I say ask you two things. One, you've got to be consistent for the most part. That doesn't mean 100% of the time. That just means kind of 80% there, 100% of the time, right? That whole idea. So you've got to
Yeah.
have that, right? Otherwise, what are we doing, right? And the second part is you just need to send me your videos and you need to now if people can't do that then yeah, there's nothing that I can do to help you. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing that I can do, because at the end of the day, you gotta want it for yourself. And I say this equally to the people that make progress. Like one of the things that I hate about when coaches do this online, especially, they'll post up a result and say, "I've done this, so I've got this person there." No, you haven't. They've got themselves there. They're the ones who had to put in the work.
You're just guiding them on the roadmap. That's all you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I've never had that before because I'm the same as you. Like, I'm confident I can help anyone who comes to me, and I never judge anyone. But then obviously, as it unfolds, if it does happen where it doesn't work out, and
Yeah, of course.
that's just the way it is. Uh, let's see, maybe a couple more, and then we'll
Yeah,
we'll
sure.
finish there. Um, okay, listening to your body, when does that become an excuse, or if ever?
Um, I'd say there's another slight angle I say looking at this. I think people are in some ways too much focused on what like recovery data and markers can show you. Like the
Hmm.
is it the Whoop band and the
Band. Yeah,
Oura
I
ring?
don't go near them.
Oh, today you are 40% recovery. Today you should not train. It's like, I mean, I'm not being funny, but like most people deal with stress in their life. There are going to be times where your sleep isn't 100%. And like, if you always followed this thing, you probably struggle to really have consistency with your training and to progress because
Mm.
there are going to be times where that thing is going to be going off and be like, oh yeah, don't push hard today. So what do you do? Go in and, train to an RPE 6 because the Aura ring tells you not to or whatever it is.
I don't go near them. One, because I don't think they're actually that accurate anyway now, a lot of them anyway. But that's not the primary reason, even if they were accurate. Like you said, I don't want that telling me I can't do something because
Yeah.
that just starts to affect my mindset. Also, as well, my OCD would have a field day, mate, with the data and shit like
Of
that,
course, yeah, yeah,
So I don't want to get triggered by any of that either. So I just stay far away from them. So yeah, I think listen to your body to an extent. Also, as well as a balance too, right? Because there is a personal responsibility to this stuff too. Sometimes I just want to eat, and eat all day,
yeah,
and like if I'm constantly, because I've got a big appetite, I'm like you, right? Like I need to eat a lot because I need to fuel my training, but there's a balance to that where if I
yeah,
just kept eating over and over and over again, which I could, and I
yeah,
could
yeah,
smash chocolate cake,
yeah. All day long. Yeah,
fight
so
all day long, and full fat, like 5 cups of full fat milk alongside it to wash it
yeah,
down.
delightful.
But, because my body's telling me,
Mm.
I'm not going to listen to it all the time, right? So there's a balance to that too. Would you agree with that,
Oh
or
yeah,
am I
completely.
being a
I mean,
bit?
yeah. I mean, if you just take the reins off and just, be like anything goes anytime, that's the thing. That's where you can't always just say to someone, "Oh, well, just eat to your appetite," because food quantity, food quality comes into that. But also, if someone just eats to their appetite, I mean, yeah, you put cookies in front of me,
Yeah,
I go
cookies.
and it's a bag of five.
Mm,
Well, I will naturally eat all five unless I consciously think about it.
mm,
But obviously I'm aware of, like, the my energy requirements for the day, the the level of energy in those things, the quantity of processed food I'd be inhaling, and that sometimes I might do. But
mm,
on the whole, I'm aware of what I'm consuming and be like, well, yeah, while I'd like to just sit here and eat five, I'm not going to. And also
mm.
have the a good enough understanding and relationship with my diet and food to realize that I can have another one tomorrow. I don't need to eat five now and be like, oh, back on the diet now. So yeah, you've got to obviously listen to your body in some. I think listening to your body comes more from a point of knowing when to push yourself in your training and knowing when to, oh, do you know what, I should probably recover a bit today and not just trying to go ham in the gym or ham in my sprint session or whatever it be.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's a good way of looking at it for
Like
sure.
when we were in Portugal and we'd had that slaughtering of a 2 hour game of paddle in the sun, and then you were like, "Oh, I've got to squat, like 212, I think, was it the next day or whatever." And so I think you purposely slept in for an extra couple of hours, and I think you ate a lot more calories
Mm.
because you knew the demands that you'd be putting on your body the next day, and so you consciously allowed for that. So I think it's things like that, isn't it?
Yeah,
Being aware.
definitely. Just being aware. That's it,
Yeah.
isn't it? Being aware. Um, a coach came up to me as I was doing power cleans and asked me why I was doing this and that I'm too old to be doing them. Would you agree with this perspective?
Um, And obviously, without knowing more about the person, like I think we discussed this on our DMs the other day, you should obviously know the injury history of the person, any restrictions and limitations in their movement ability. But if they don't, then I see
Mm.
absolutely no reason why someone shouldn't be
No.
power cleaning. Just like there's no reason why someone shouldn't be squatting or sprinting or
Yeah.
whatever movement they want to do throughout. Because the longer you can do it, the longer you maintain the ability to do it. So why on
Yeah.
earth you discourage someone? I have no idea.
Yeah, 100%. In terms of like, I've heard this before from coaches that say, if someone's a bit older, while you train in greater force development and stuff like that, like the way that I look at strength in general is a spectrum, right? You've got maximal strength on one side and basically faster lifting light weights fast on the other, right? You've got
Yeah.
power, rate of force development, whatever you want to call it. And this is why I do strength training. People think I do powerlifting, mate. I don't do
I know.
powerlifting.
Powerlifting is a
All right.
sport in itself, isn't it?
Powerlifting's a sport, right? Like I do help people with powerlifting because of my experience in powerlifting,
Mm.
but my system is set up for strength training,
Yeah,
which can benefit everything, including powerlifting, but it's not
yeah.
reserved for powerlifters. So I'm going to make that clear because it winds me up when people say, "Oh,
I know.
you're
People see low
powerlifting."
bar back squatting and benching, and I'll
Yeah,
powerlift that. Yeah, I know.
yeah. So with strength training, like I train that side of the spectrum as well, but the way that we do it is with we have different movement patterns. Power cleans can be a part of that. Barbell rows, if the more explosive version of a barbell row. I teach traditional how it was traditionally taught. Presses emphasize more of the rate of force development side of things. The way that that's taught, lighter variations of the barbell lift, just literally moving them quicker, train that side
Yeah.
of it as well. And that's how we look at it. But I think you've hit the nail on the head, really. I don't think there's any reason just because you're older that you shouldn't expose yourself to that.
Mm.
But how that looks will be relative to where you're at, really, in the
Yeah.
context. Like, am I gonna get um, a 70-year-old who's never done a power clean before to power clean? Well, probably not, because they're probably beat up by that time. It's a more technical
Very high skill.
movement.
Yeah. Mm.
There's more coordination involved. Um, I'm probably not going to introduce it to that person, but
Lower hanging fruit, isn't there, that you can win on,
yeah,
like the
so
squat and
we,
things.
we we might train it with, like like a lighter squat, right? Or even a barbell row, for instance, or a
Mm.
press, you know. But if there's someone there who has been doing power cleans all their life, and they happen to be in their 70s or 80s and know to do it properly, then great.
Mm.
Crack on.
Yeah.
So I think, as you said, I would disagree this whole thing, as you get older, you should just stop
Mm.
training your rate of force development. I actually think no, it's part of, well-rounded strength development. I think there's no harm in including it. So yeah, I agree, mate, definitely.
Yeah.
Let's pick one more then.
Go on then.
Uh, there's three here. Is there any fitness truths that took you years to accept? And if so, what is it? Fitness truths.
Mm. Have you got anything off the top of your head?
Fitness truths. I mean, big one for me was overuse injuries. Because I was told, I was convinced that if I just kept doing a movement pattern over and over again, that somehow that was inherently dangerous. I was taught that,
Yeah.
you know. So I was taught that, if you just keep repeating a squat or a low bar squat, then
You run into
somehow
trouble.
that's going to create an overuse injury. And this the biggest load of, I can't swear on you because we're going to get demonetized otherwise on YouTube, but you fill in the blank BS,
Yeah.
right? That you know, it's ridiculous. Like,
Mm.
I can tell you that now after training the way that I have for years and years and years. Like, I do the same exercises over and over and over again. And am I banged up and beat up?
Mm.
No, I'm not. By the way, with heavy weights too.
Yeah, the other thing
So,
is on that point is you're not switching up exercises because you're hitting a plateau after like 4 weeks either, are you?
no,
Yeah.
so personally, mate, look, I've come to this realization: variation is a principle in my training system, but variation primarily in, the simpler forms, first of all, which is going to be sets, reps, load.
Mm.
Those are going to be the big ones, right? And then variation in exercises as well at more of an elite level, but it it's always going to be with the lighter exposures of the week. It's never
Yeah.
going to be with the heavier exposures. The heavy exposures are always going to be the primary movement patterns, you
Mm.
know. Um, yeah, you need that. You need exercise consistency. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
that's just the way it is. Like, otherwise, if you're altering the exercise, you're altering the stress. And if you alter the stress, then
You're not
the
going to get the
stress
overload
recovery
in.
adaptation cycle isn't going to work.
Yeah.
So that's the way that I look at it personally, and you can overtrain,
Mm.
you can under recover. Those are absolutely things, but this whole idea that somehow if you keep repeating an exercise, you're going to hurt yourself. It's like, that's rubbish. That's
Yeah.
absolute rubbish. So that's mine anyway.
No,
One for
spot
you.
on. Yeah.
Have you got any or no?
Nothing screams to me really, you know.
No, no, okay. I'll finish on that one anyway. But
Yeah.
well, guys, if you enjoyed that one, be sure to leave that rating and review. I'm sort of smiling now. Fucking hell. I can't get one of these in, can I?
I just wondered if you can offer me to take it or
Every time, no, no, I jumped straight
yeah,
in.
you just go, sir. You
Yeah.
just go.
Again, give me permission again. I don't
I'm
like
not, I'm just
this.
sitting back. I'm just, I
Every time we finish, you start smiling and you have to give me permission to end
I,
it.
sir, I am the passenger on that freight train.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you're the driver. So yeah,
I
I'm
am
just sitting
trying
back as
to.
a passenger. You
Yeah,
go.
well, okay. Well, guys, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll catch you in the next one.